guys, welcome to Vlogmas episode 2. It is now finally December and perfect opportunity to wear my favorite December themed sweater, which is my Little Crystals by Céline Feyton. I test knitted this, was it 2 years ago now? Maybe 1, can't remember. But this pattern is the one that really gave me confidence as a knitter, and I love wearing it in December. December to me is blue, even though it's Christmas, so red and green, but I love the blue of winter. So December and January, I'm all about wearing blue. This one is perfect because it is blue. I used Cascade 220 for this project. I don't know if I can remember the blue color though, but I don't think you could go wrong with any shade of blue or whatever color you want. The testers all did beautiful versions, but let's not go on a tangent too much about the sweater because it's time to catch up. So as I'm sure you saw, we had a little bit of snow yesterday and it was really fun getting our first sledding of the year in. My boys love going outside when it snows, and luckily for me, I have a lot of knitwear to keep me warm, so that's a good opportunity for me to wear knitwear, and it makes me more excited to go out, which is good because they want to go out all the time. Unfortunately, today the sun is out, so the snow is rapidly melting, but I think it should snow again this week, hopefully, so that would be really good to have more snow. It just brightens things up. I love snow. I love everything about it, except for driving in it. That's not as fun, but I don't do a ton of driving. So today is Monday, December 1st. Mondays are my get things done type of days. So, you know, preschool drop off and pickup and grocery shopping. Had my little electrolytes after grocery shopping, which is my favorite way to give me back some energy after, doing all of the groceries and putting them away and things like that. So my kids are finally down for their nap / quiet time. So I have a little bit of time to catch up with you guys. I want to show you all the things that I've been knitting, especially this past weekend, because last time we chatted, completely pivoted and changed directions on my sweater project for this month. So yes, goodbye to the poor Kintra. Sad, sad. But the winter soul sweater is beautiful, and I am so glad that swatching went better. When I swatched for this, I swatched a lot. I redid swatches just to make sure my gauge was spot on because I didn't want another Kintra gauge mayhem situation. So I did my swatch a bunch. Of course I unraveled the swatch because I don't keep my swatches. I don't block them either. I feel like I know how yarn behaves, and so I know if it's superwash it's just gonna grow, so I always choose like a size down. For regular wool, I don't feel like blocking really changes that much, so I think it's okay. So just a refresher, if this is your first Vlogmas that you're watching, I'm using Knitting for Olive, Heavy Merino, and Cascade 220 for this project, which the gauge is 20 stitches per 4 inches, which is a DK weight gauge, I feel like. And so my gauge is a little bit tight, but it calls for a worsted weight yarn, and I think it's okay, and I don't have any other yarn that I can use for this, so I'm just going with it. I think maybe blocking it will help it relax a little bit, and if not, it's just going to be a very cozy, warm, dense colorwork sweater, which is fine because this one is a worsted weight colorwork sweater and I can wear it on the coldest days and be totally fine. This one will probably be the same. Okay, let me show you the progress that I have made. This is a top down, and you start out with this little back and forth raglan situation. So you can see the raglan stitches right there. You can see that I did not match my stitch markers because I don't have enough stitch markers in the same color of this kind. And I realized I knit, well, I know that I knit with Gu needles, but I don't like stitch markers or like, you know, like these round ones. I like to use the round ones for like marking raglans and things, but the metal ones, metal on metal, ugh, I don't like it. And if they're just knitting needles, like metal on metal, it's not too bad. But if I am like slipping the stitch marker and it's metal, it gives me the shivers. So I really like using these like plastic ones, and I just don't have a lot of them. And I went to order more, and the Etsy seller doesn't sell them anymore. And I think she only does metal ones now. So I'm a little bit sad about that. So if you have favorite plastic round stitch markers, and they don't have to be like these ones you can't open, like they're just stuck on here, and I'm totally okay with that. But if you have favorites, let me know, put them in the comments below, because I really want to buy more. I'm just kind of picky about my plastic ones. I want them to look nice, and I don't want them to look like plastic, which is so annoying of me to say, but these ones just don't look like they're made of plastic. You know what I mean? Like they don't look that cheap. So I don't know, I'm just being picky, and these ones work, but I could always use more. I will eventually lose all of these, right? So anyways, I feel like I'm running a million miles per hour. Let me show you the fabric. It's not too bad. It's pretty stretchy. Just as I'm knitting with it, it does feel a little bit dense, but I am hitting gauge with this. So I did have to size down to get gauge on my stockinette without the color work. So these are 3.75 millimeter needles instead of 4 millimeter needles. For the color work gauge, 5 millimeter needles, it helps me meet gauge for that. So that's quite a big jump. I must just do color work really tight, but the pattern does recommend going up from the 4 millimeter to the 5 millimeter. So yeah, I guess my stockinette, I just needed to size down a little bit. And so with meeting gauge pretty well, I am going to do the size 4, which is about 48 to 49 inches circumference, which is about 5 inches of positive ease, which is my sweet spot, I feel like, for these types of sweaters. So I think it will work out really nicely. At this point, the next step is to join the front. I think you cast on some stitches and join it and work some more raglans, and then I think I will be starting the color work fairly soon, so it'll be a little bit more interesting than just a little bit of raglan at the beginning in one color. So that is my update on the winter sole, and it is a project that I am struggling multitasking with. I feel like I can watch knitting podcasts because I don't need to watch those as much. I mostly just listen to the knitting podcasts, right? And so this has been a project that's good for that. But over the weekend, I just had a lot of things to watch that I needed to actually watch on the TV, and this was not conducive to that because I really had to make sure I was following the pattern and the raglan, and it does, you know, have increases that go at a different rate. So yeah, I definitely needed to really pay attention, but I did have a cool setup of, you know, the laptop playing the podcast, and then my friend got me this stand for a early birthday present. Let me show it to you. It's like this little donut thing, and then this is a magnet, and it comes with some magnets. So I put one on my phone in case I ever want to like watch on my phone, but then you can also put your Kindle on it. Let me show you. And I send all of my patterns to my Kindle just because it's easier to read, and when I go to my Kindle, it stays on that same page, so I don't have to just like scroll through the pattern to find the page that I'm already on. It just keeps it there for me on my Kindle. And so yeah, with my Kindle on here, it just is like the perfect little setup to put on my bed and have the pattern up and ready to go at the same time as I'm watching something else. It's just peak. I have found the peak setup. So I don't know why we went on that tangent, but to say the least, I'm having to focus on this pattern, which is great for my brain at some times, and then other times I just needed some stockinette to work on. So leading up to this, I casted on something else. I needed a pattern that I've done before, that I don't have to gauge swatch for, because we all know my feelings about gauge swatching at the moment. So I decided to cast on a Muscle Burrow hat by Isolde Teague. And this is one that I've been planning on for months and months and months, because I got this beautiful yarn from the last fiber festival that I went to, yarn festival, fiber fair, whatever you want to call it, back in the spring. And I've been wanting to make a muscle burrow with this yarn ever since. I just haven't gotten around to it. So this yarn is from Greenwood, and this is their Cashmere Delight base. This is the most expensive yarn I think I've ever purchased before. I want to say it was around $40. But if you let's just listen to the content, because maybe that will explain things. It's 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere. So it's a really nice blend, really, really soft and drapey. And it's dyed this blush color. The colorway is called Blush, and it is a tonal, so there's more white leaning blush tones and then more of like the actual pink in there. So I think it will come together beautifully, and it really is just so soft and squishy. So I did cast on this muscle burrow. So I've just completed all of the increases. I've measured my gauge, so I'm getting about 7 stitches per inch, so I know how many decreases to do, and now I'm just straight knitting until I hit the measurement that I need to. I do shorten the last muscle burrow I made. I did shorten the length of it because I don't really like tall hats on me. I like just a snug fitting beanie, and so it was about like maybe an inch or two less than the pattern said to knit to before you start your decreases. So I will follow that same thing, especially because at 7 stitches, it will be pretty close to how much yarn I have. This is 437 yards per 100 grams. And I think the pattern says for 7 stitches, you need 430 yards. That's a little bit close. So I definitely will make it shorter and be happy with the fit of it. And yeah, just really enjoying how the yarn is working up. It was really perfect for all the things that I watched over the weekend, which was the Qatar Formula One, all of the racing stuff that was going on. That one was a crazy race. It's gonna be an exciting final race this weekend. Let's just say that much. And then I also watched the last episode of Maxton Hall. If you have watched the last episode of Maxton Hall season 2, let me know. We can talk, because holy smokes, was that a cliffhanger. My poor babies in that series, they just cannot catch a break. Those poor little teenagers. But I'm really loving it. I enjoyed it, but you know, we need to talk if you have also watched the finale episode. Okay, so yeah, I have 2 projects. Very excited about both of them. I also have those colorwork mittens that I've talked about in my last podcast episodes. I don't know when I'll work on those, just whenever I'm needing a project to work on downstairs. I think those will probably take longer to complete, just because they're colorwork mittens and they take longer and they're not super conducive to knitting with kids around needing me. So we'll just keep slowly working away on those. As for vlogging this week, I was thinking about all the things that we have planned. I am seeing Wicked tomorrow again with my friend. This is my third time seeing Wicked in theaters, but I just love it. The first time I went by myself, I love going to the movie theater by myself. It's my favorite thing. The second time was with my book club, and then the third time is going to be tomorrow night with my friend. So that'll be very fun because we went and saw the first one together. So of course we have to go see the second one together. And then let's see. I don't know what we'll get up to. I think we want to take our boys to see Santa Claus this Saturday. So we'll see about that. Also, something exciting that happened today that I want to briefly touch on is that I have started a booktube with my friend Allison, which is very exciting. So we love watching primarily two booktube channels. Chris and Mads is one, and then the brothers Gwen is the other. We love their style and their book recommendations, and so they've been really inspiring us to see if we could start a book podcast as well, a booktube. So we decided to give it a go because we talk a lot about books anyways when we're hanging out, so it feels pretty natural for us, and we just released our first episode today. I'm very, very excited. So today's episode, we just talked about all of the things that we read in November and our thoughts on them. So if you're interested in getting some book recommendations, feel free to check out that video. I'll have it linked below. Our channel is called Fabled Friends. But I'm sure I'll be talking about books on here as well. And I have some ideas for things that we can talk about during this Vlogmas season. Was there anything else? I think that's all. I hope you guys are enjoying your day, your evening, whatever it is. Hopefully you're knitting on something fun. If you want to let me know what that is, I would love to hear in the comments. Or if you're doing any fun holiday themed activities this week, I would also love to hear that in the comments as well. And let's get some knitting done and watch some Vlogmas because I've been looking forward to this all day. We are outside because of course we are. We're always out here. But I can't really knit outside because, at least in the winter, because it's cold and my fingers don't do well with cold and knitting, and fingerless gloves and knitting also just don't work. So instead I get to read. So I wanted to share what I've been reading whenever we're outside. And then I decided to reread one of my favorites as a treat to myself for the month of December. So I am reading The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang, and this is one of my favorite fantasy books of all time. It's a standalone, so perfect for those of you who want to try something fantasy but don't want to commit. It's just one book, and it doesn't follow the normal fantasy type plot. It's very unique and feels original in the way that it's set up, and the character development is spot on. There's some really cool battle scenes. It's all based in, I think, Japan, but like an alternate type of Japan with a little bit of magic to it as well. And it's just basically about community and fighting for your community and your family and honor. Yeah, I just absolutely love it, and I would highly, highly recommend. It's the best. My kids are settled in with a movie, and I just saw that Laura Penrose uploaded her first Vlogmas of the year. Laura Penrose is my favorite person to watch on YouTube right now, and so I'm gonna settle in with my knitting, which I have now joined in the round, and see how much I can get done of this tonight while watching her and other Vlogmases that I have missed. And have a very cozy evening. It's fine. It's okay. Sparkling water. I usually like it. Cranberry raspberry. It's fine. You can hear something in the background. That's my dryer going. It was a big laundry day today. So I thought that we'd do a little bit of a wrap up here. I filmed more than I thought that I would the last couple days, and so I think this kind of wraps up this second episode of this vlog. I want to show you the little bit of progress that I made with my winter sole. So I have joined in the brown. As you can see, it's got some nice thicker on the back, thinner on the front. And I did start the first row of the color work, which is just, man, this is really curling up and it's kind of hard to show you. Just some dots so far. So I can't wait to see this take shape tomorrow for sure. I will get more of this done. As for, yeah, tomorrow's vlog, I have a specific theme that I think will be really fun to explore. And also, all of our plans might be up in the air now because my oldest son, Jay, he started coughing a lot this evening and doesn't seem like he's feeling very good. So I hope that he sleeps well tonight, but it might just be a cozy day at home, having him rest as much as possible, probably not going outside because Utah is pretty notorious for bad air quality because especially where I live, it's just surrounded by mountains, and so the bad air gets trapped inside and it's really hard for the air to move out of the mountains when there's like just smog, unless we have a storm, which we should have a storm soon. But anyways, I don't want him outside and breathing that air and making his cough worse. But if it's clear air, then sometimes cold helps. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm sad for him if he is sick because that's not fun. And then I hope it doesn't spread throughout the rest of us because that's usually how it goes when young kids get sick. It just moves from one person to the other. The only good thing about him being sick, which is probably, I probably shouldn't say it like that. With him being sick, I just have the TV on more, relaxing more, which means I get way more knitting done. So I think I'll be able to get a lot more knitting done tomorrow, hopefully get a lot of the chart done, and it'll be a chill day. If you've made it this far, thank you for joining me on the second episode of Vlogmas. Really appreciate you guys, and thank you for all of your lovely comments on the first Vlogmas. I am so happy that a lot of you were excited and just enjoyed watching the first episode. That means a lot to me, and this is a very fun experience so far, so can't wait to see, you know, the future Vlogmas episodes, what they end up being. It's all very fun part of the process. I hope you guys are doing well, and I will catch you in the next one, episode 3. Bye.